the potential that we have in terms of known reserves is quite high. We have something like 42 billion oil and gas, 42 billion tons of oil and gas equivalent. We have the potential of several Guyanas in the Andaman Ocean. And I also said that we are looking at the possibility, thanks to this additional exploration and production, of finding a Guyana. Here there is reasonable expectation because we found it in all those in that basin and in so many, I've got 2.5 pages of those exact locations listed, that you will find it. I can very happily talk about that possibility. Let me also clarify to you that ever since the Prime Minister assumed responsibility, we have been trying to alter the entire system for exploration and production. We had a problem in that in the years prior to that and right up to, I think, 2016, we call that the lost decade because on account of a large number of factors, some of the contracts which had been signed, they went wrong and we were in a position of virtually no E&P taking place. So we call that the lost decade. Then after Modi ji became Prime Minister, we started changing the system. We have 3.5 million square kilometers of sedimentary basin. We never went beyond 8% or so for a variety of reasons. There were parts of the sedimentary basin which were no-go areas. So one of the decisions which we took was that 1 million square kilometers of that sedimentary basin, which was no-go area, has suddenly been made available for E&P. And as a result of which, the 9th round of open acreage licensing policy, 38% of the bids came in that 1 million square kilometers. And it is my expectation that for the 10th round, for which work is going on right now, more than 75% of the bids will come in that region. And we've also issued some of the largest bids on offer anywhere, something like 2.5 lakh square kilometers of area has been offered out on bidding. Now these reports which are doing the rounds, I think there is a little bit of 2 and 2 plus 2 is 22 and plus 2 is 222 in that. The potential that we have in terms of known reserves is quite high. We have something like 42 billion oil and gas, 42 billion tons of oil and gas equivalent. You can ask, if you're importing so much oil and gas, why are you not exploiting it? We were not. We are doing it now. That is the point. Second issue, when you do exploration and production, it's a capital expensive, it's capital intensive. It's a very expensive proposition. An onshore well costs something like $4 million on an average. I'm talking about global rates and dollar rates being held at a particular constant. And an overseas and offshore well costs about 100 million barrels. Now what used to happen is, because there was no focus on E&P, they were not drilling. ONGC, which is the premier company for us in exploration and production, they have dug the largest number of wells in 37 years this year. It's about 500. Now, if you have known potential, you have to dig an oil well to find the oil. Now in Guyana, everybody says Guyana, Guyana. They dug 46 wells and they didn't find any oil. It's when they dug the 57th one, they dug and found oil. And then it became the largest find. So what I've been saying is that we have the potential of several Guyanas in the Andaman Ocean. And I also said that we are looking at the possibility, thanks to this additional exploration and production, of finding a Guyana. These are the facts. Now I can very soon share with you where are the areas where we've dug wells, where we found oil. These are green shoots. I'd be very happy to share with you. In 24-25, these are all 24-25 figures. Suryamani, Block MB0OSHP. This is the OALP round 6. This is already found, green shoots, and I think the potential is 4 million metric tons of oil equivalent. This is 24-25. In 24-25, Neelmani, this is again OALP round 5. This first one was dug at 2,323 meters. Okay. This next one I'm mentioning to you, Neelmani, 1,117 meters, potential 1.2 million metric tons of oil equivalent. The first one is oil, the next one is gas. 25-26 this year in OALP, this is something going back to OALP round 3. We've dug at 2,865 meters. This is oil and gas both. This is underestimation. They're still trying to find out, but they have struck. Then in 23-24 under OALP 3 we had Moti, 2,957 meters depth, oil and gas both, something like 5 million metric tons of oil equivalent. So we have several. I have 1, 2, 3 pages, 2.5 pages of places where we found discovery. Now, what does that mean? It means, in essence, you've got green shoots discovery. Each place you found the oil, now you're estimating it, then you're digging deeper and deeper. As we speak, we have 4 places where ONGC and Oil India Limited are digging at 5,000 meters. I gave you figures at 2,500, 3,000. You have to keep giving in. Now, why was there reluctance earlier? I'll tell you, there are many factors. First of all, digging a well is a expensive proposition. I mentioned offshore well costs about $100 million per well. But more than that, companies are more interested in, in playing up their quarterly profits. Now, if you put so much money aside on drilling, that means your profit per quarter accordingly is down. How much will this mean? We need to make an estimation after all these wells when you go down to 5,000 or even below that. But why am I optimistic? Why I think we are looking at a potential Guyana, if not more? Because our ecosystem has changed. We moved from production sharing arrangements to revenue sharing arrangement in 2016. Why was that necessary? Because the previous decade, from 2006 to 16, which had production sharing assessment, the contracts went wrong, there was litigation and a lot of problem. Then we have got a new law now. Earlier we had a 1948 law which dealt with coal mining and other forms of mining, and petrol leases were part of that. We've separated that. It gives us more predictability. Plus the new law has been formulated after looking at global best practices, and our regulations, and the new law was first, draft law was put in the public domain. It was passed through the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. The regulations under this were also put in the public domain, and we got comments of all interested parties. And today also our policy is a very different one. Our policy is, anyone who has good suggestions to make, please let us know when we will be, we will incorporate your suggestions. So we are willing to tweak it in order to make it worthwhile. Secondly, participating in this kind of activity is very expensive. A lot of global oil companies will turn around and say, why should we come, and then you'll change your policy. We say, no, if you have the expertise, please make your expertise available to us, as we did in the case of Oil India, which is getting expertise from Petrobras of Brazil through technical services, and they have the first right of refusal. We will compensate them for their technical services. Equally, for the Bombay High, ONGC is in partnership with BP, again on similar term, and the results in both the areas and other wells that they're digging are very, very positive. All I can tell you is, it's very difficult to put a monetary figure on it. When you talk about Guyana, how much was Guyana in terms of find? I think Guyana would be about 11 billion this thing. Now, how much is 11 billion? Let me give you a perspective. Prior to these cuts, OPEC cuts, global extraction and consumption was 102 million barrels per day, which has now come down to 97 million. If you multiply 100 million barrels by 365, you come to what? Figure of 3 billion, and they have 11 billion. So total global consumption, all taken into account, they would have 4 billion. I'm not calculating 100. It was earlier 102, now 97, but roughly the figure is correct, 3 billion. How much would it be worth? It's wrong to put a figure on it. Depends on the price of oil on a particular day. In the last 2 weeks, we've had price of oil at 65. Today we have it at 74, 75. It could go up, or it could stay there, or it could come down. But all said and done, with the discoveries, Krishna Godavari Basin, there was an ONGC discovery, which it was ONGC, which we thought was giving 45,000 barrels of oil a day. Well, it's not reached 45, it's reached about 35, 38,000 barrels a day, and gas. Now, a barrel of oil today is 74. If you multiply 74 by 35,000, you'll get a figure. But again, as I said, today we are a $4 trillion economy. We are growing at 6.5%. Guyana, which was pre-oil, and today it's growing at 40%. It's growing at 40%. So it stands to reason that if we find oil on that magnitude, as I said, I think we have the potential. It has been estimated, and today the exploration and production, those 2.5 pages of oil wells that we've dug and what they have shown, it's all, and then we are going deeper and deeper. It shows that we are in that direction. If we get a Guyana, let's say, I don't know, Guyana is an expression. I mean, today we are importing 80% of our oil and 50% of our natural gas. If we get even, let's say, 5 billion barrels, fine. Our total known estimation could be 42 billion of gas and oil equivalent. 5, 10, 15, I can't speculate on that. But you have green shoots, discoveries, all pointing to oil being found. We should avoid the temptation, like I saw in a news report, which said that they're digging oil wells, which means the oil has been found. It's not like that. Sometimes when you dig bore wells, and water will come because you're 100% sure if you go deeper. Here there is reasonable expectation because we found it in all those, in that basin, and in so many, I've got 2.5 pages of those exact locations listed, that you will find it. But you will have to go there, cost, how much it is, all needs to be evaluated, but it's pointing to good news.